Well, let me ask you about the Voice campaign then. The Yes Vote campaign's kicked off. What is your take on the likely success of this? And does it bring back memories of your time in the Hawke government? I remember reading that Bob Hawke was critical of his cabinet colleagues, he wrote, because he thought a lot of them believed in Christianity, and people thought the story of Jesus was improbable, but they wouldn't take into account Aboriginal beliefs. They thought they were a load of garbage. He saw some hypocrisy there. He obviously promised a treaty and it never happened. What do you think Bob Hawke would think of the Voice?
Hawkey would lap it up. I think Hawkey was always inclined to go as far as he could to support Aboriginal causes of any kind. And I think, as we all know, he was a publicly compassionate man, and he was in private as well.
Well, Peter Dutton had a red-hot go yesterday at the likes of BHP and Wesfarmers donating $2 million each to the Yes 23 campaign. What do you make of his comments? What do you make of what corporate Australia is doing?
Well, I mean, I'm happy with what corporate Australia is doing. I can understand why Peter Dutton is not. But Dutton actually yesterday, I think, showed a bit of mettle. What he did was pretty courageous. And that's what Sir Humphrey always said about ministers when he didn't want them to do something. So Peter Dutton stood up and was counted. And I think that's refreshing in Australian politics. So I'm not going to knock it.
Fair enough. Now, you've been pretty spot on with your election predictions in recent years, more spot on than most, if not all. So what's your prediction for the Fadden by-election in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'd say a Liberal hold.
But a swing against the Libs or to the Libs? That's probably the bigger question.
There'll be a swing against the Libs, but it won't be enough. That'd be my
is that bad news? Is that bad news for Peter Dutton in terms of the party room's morale if that happens, or is it of little consequence?
Well, I don't think it's good news for him, but it's not the end of the world either. When you're taking on someone like Albo, who's incredibly popular, it's very difficult, and everyone knows that. So you don't expect miracles from any election, and by-elections are included in that. So I don't think it'll mean the end of Peter Dutton, but he does have to start to look to the future and say, how do I stop this juggernaut from just swamping us every time? He doesn't appear to have an answer to that.
Anthony Albanese, interestingly, seems to be hardening rhetoric around no early election and going a full term. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that's probably what Albo will do. I think Albo's a man of his word too. He's not someone who'll say one thing and do another. So if Albo's saying that, he'll stick to it. But also, I think, in terms of Australia generally, we're much better off having full terms. I know Hawkey was adept at running early and doing well out of it. But in my view, it's just wrong. Going early purely for political advantage is just not on. We should be. I'm happy to be a fixed term man.
The scars of 1984, perhaps. Well, just finally, the PM will be meeting his Indonesian counterpart, Joko Widodo, tomorrow. It's happy days now, that Australian and Indonesian relationship. Wasn't always the case, was it?
No, it certainly was not. It was very prickly and rocky road for a long time. But, this Widodo is a star. I think he's a remarkable man, one of the great men of this world. And what he's achieved in Indonesia is remarkable, and he shows no sign of stopping. So this guy's worth powder and shot, that's for sure.
Graham Richardson, thanks again for your time this Monday afternoon.
Thanks, mate.